If I had 1,000 tongues, I would sing with everyone. Voices like a mountain song. Sing, you are my only one. Oh my, oh my, oh my days. Life is wonderful. Life is wonderful. Never understood, but life can be this good. I would launch 1,000 ships just to be about your lips, till them all to sail away, just to see you every day. Oh my, oh my, oh my days. Life is wonderful. Life is wonderful. Life is wonderful. Never understood that life can be this good. If I lived 1,000 lives, I'd spend them all with you beside. Never-ending deja vu. Never-ending days with you. Oh my, oh my, oh my days. Oh, life is wonderful. Oh, life is wonderful. Never understood how life can be this good. Life is wonderful. Life is wonderful. Life is wonderful. Life is wonderful.
Afternoon, everybody. If we could just get our fantastic female athletes up to the stage, please, to take your seats. We would like to invite you, and then we will get officially underway in just a few minutes. So if we could have Taylor Knibb, Paula Findlay, Emma Pallant-Brown, Lucy Charles-Barkley, and Flora Duffy to please take your seats at the top of the room, and we will get we'll be going live very shortly on Facebook as well, so we'll let you know when that happens. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the 2022 Intermountain Healthcare Ironman 70.3 World Championship presented by Utah Sports Commission Women's Post-Race Press Conference. My name is Joanne Murphy. I'm one of the race announcers for this weekend, and I'm delighted to host this fantastic press conference with our incredible, legendary female athletes. We'll be speaking with our top 5 professional women finishers, including your 2022 Ironman 70.3 World Champion. We will take questions from the in-person media. If you have any questions here in the room with us today, we will hand you a microphone. We'll ask you to please state your name and your media affiliation. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning to everybody watching us on Facebook. You are also very welcome to our live event. We will then ask questions from our audience after our media questions, and we will also take questions from our social media. So please, if you're watching online, be sure to add your questions in the comments. So let's get down to business, welcoming our top 5 female athletes at the Ironman 70.3 World Championships. Gold medalist at the Tokyo Olympics, it's Flora Duffy from Boulder, Colorado in the USA. Representing Bermuda. I'm allowed one mistake. Representing Bermuda, she is our gold medalist from the Tokyo Olympics, finishing in 5th position. She swam a 24:21. She rode a 2:21.29, and she ran a 1:25.04 for a total time of 4:13.33. Congratulations, Flora Duffy, and welcome to the press conference. She was your 2021 Ironman 70.3 World Champion. She finished second at the Ironman World Championships in Kona just a couple of weeks ago, representing the United Kingdom, fastest female swimmer of the day, 23:50 her swim time, her bike 2:21.50, her run a 1:23.02 for a total finishing time of 4:11.24. Lucy Charles-Barkley, welcome to the podium. Running herself into third position, representing the United Kingdom. She swam a 25:01, she rode a 2:25.40, and then she had the fastest run split of the day, and that is no surprise, running a 1:17.45 to take third position by literally 30 seconds to finish in 4:10.45. Congratulations and welcome, Emma Pallant-Brown. She's a four-time Olympian. It's Paula Findlay from Canada. She swam 25:05, biked a 2:20.49, ran a 1:20.33 for a total time of 04:08.57, and mentioned in the pre-press conference that she wanted the swim to be a little longer because she fancied the cold water. Congratulations, Paula Findlay from Canada. It gives me great pleasure to introduce your new Ironman 70.3 World Champion. Representing the USA, she is the second ever athlete from the USA, female, to take the title, the Ironman 70.3 World Championship title. She swam a 23:54. She had the fastest bike split of our female athletes on the day, a 2:14.41. She ran a 1:21.50 with a total finishing time of 4 hours, 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Congratulations, she is your Intermountain Healthcare Ironman 70.3 World Champion, Taylor Knibb, representing the USA. Now we have a couple of questions. Flora, if I may start with you, if that's okay. Coming off the back of the gold medal at the Tokyo Olympics a little over a year ago, you have raced 1:70.3 in your whole career so far as a middle distance athlete. How does it feel to now be sitting in fifth position in the world?
Coming into this, I've only raced 1:70.3, and that was in 2020, January 2020, so before COVID, which feels like a lifetime ago. I have attempted others, but I mean, that's a long story, so I won't go into it. I was very grateful at the opportunity to race here today. It's been a big learning experience for me coming from short course. I've raced short course for my entire career, and I'm 35 now. So, it's kind of, I guess, strange or a little bit unusual to be kind of this late in my career and just entering some long course. But it was really important for me this year off the back of the Olympics to try something new, put myself in an environment that I'm really not super comfortable in and learn some new skills. The time trial bike has been a huge adjustment, and I'm definitely, still need to continue to learn and progress. But thrilled to be sitting here. These women were incredible today. I have so much respect for them. I've raced actually most of them, all of them before, whether it has been a long course race or over short course. Very happy with being able to sit here next to them after the race.
You mentioned there that you had to make some adjustments from switching up from the shorter course to the Ironman 70.3 distance. Talk us through some of those adjustments that you've had to make to your training and preparation for a race like this.
Yeah, well, the biggest adjustment has just been riding my time trial bike and doing some, just some longer rides, bigger volume on it, because it is so different. Most of my races this year have been 1 hour sprint distance, and can confirm the training for a sprint distance versus a 4 hour 70.3 is very different. That was an adjustment, slightly bigger running volume. The paces are a little bit different, which I found really refreshing. As I said, I've done so much short course that to do something new was, really enjoyable.
We chatted just before we went live at the press conference today, and you mentioned that you were not as happy today as you were with your performance in South Africa.
Oh, no, I think I'm happier today. Well, the 170.3 I've done, I guess I've learned through these long course races that kind of anything can happen. When I raced in South Africa, I had issues on the bike. I had some sciatic nerve stuff going on, which was a huge surprise for me, 45 Ks in. And then I guess today, pretty happy overall with my race. But towards the end of the run, I don't know what was happening to me. It was my back, my diaphragm, but I literally thought I was going to fold in half. And it was like the strangest experience I've ever had. I guess just with the longer racing, your body can deteriorate a little bit, and it's a big adjustment. And it's been humbling, but at the same time, I guess nice to do something completely different.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Flora Duffy, representing Bermuda, 5th position at our Ironman 70.3 World Championships. We're going to go right across the room to Lucy Charles-Barkley, an incredible performance in Kona just 3 weeks ago, and to turn around and deliver a performance like that today. Lucy, no surprise that you were leading the swim out of the water this morning. How does it feel to be sitting back on the podium for another World Championship in the space of 3 weeks?
Yeah, it feels pretty good. I think off the back of the year that I've had with the injury and kind of just getting started quite late in the year, and actually done 4 major races in the last 3 months. I have to be pretty happy to be sat here, and it was a fight all day. So gutted to just miss out on the podium, but fair play to Emma. She was running so strong out there, and to come away with 4th, I definitely can't complain with that.
Lucy, you mentioned during the week you were going to take time in transition to make sure that you had the right clothes on you. Now, you're from the United Kingdom. We're not afraid of the cold weather over on that side of the Atlantic Ocean. What did you do today to mitigate against the cold?
So I actually started the day with a lot of layers on under my tri-suit in the swim. I actually had a bin bag on under there, so it was very high fashion. And some thermal layers under the tri-suit as well. Then in transition, put on some thermal arm warmers and some gloves. I also had some thermal toe caps on the shoes. And even with all that, it was still a shock. Like, I knew it was going to be cold, but starting that bike, it was like, geez, this is so cold. So it was about kind of just getting the head in the zone and thinking it's going to warm up at some point, so just keep trying to push, and the harder you can push, the warmer you're going to get in theory. So that was what was keeping me going.
What about pushing too big a wattage on the bike course, though? Because if you are going to try and warm up on the bike course, you don't want to move away from the numbers that you want to be achieving on the course.
Yeah, I didn't actually have any watts on display today. I was just looking at my heart rate, and that was pretty much near max. So I was like, well, I can't really do any more than that. So, and I think in this style of racing now, it's stepped up so much that you kind of just have to go with where the race is. If you want to be in contention for the win, watts go out the window, and you just need to follow the front of the race.
Was it difficult towing the start line today? Was it a mental game today to tow the start line after the performance you put in Kona?
We always knew it was going to be tough. Like we said, as soon as I finished the race in Kona, I need to almost forget about that and celebrate it once I get home. So we just thought, get straight back into training, get the body moving and focus on this race. So I haven't yet celebrated the second in Kona, and I definitely will do that once I get home. But I think because I started my year so late and having only raced 4 times, mentally I felt quite fresh. But I definitely could start to feel Kona in the legs on that run today. So I felt like I just didn't have that extra gear, but that's going to happen.
And I do believe that black bag got worn right down the finish line as well today, didn't it? Under your tri-suit.
It did, yeah. There was no way I was getting that off in the run. We were running far too quick and in too much of a battle to remove that.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, 4th position here for your Ironman 2023, your 70.3 race here. Lucy Charles-Barkley from the United Kingdom. Congratulations, Lucy. Moving into 3rd position, also representing the United Kingdom, Emma Pallant-Brown. You were on a winning streak this year. That run down that finish line today, that run performance you put in today was, I have to say, it was legendary.
Thanks. Yeah. Well, it hurt enough. Yeah, it was tough. I got on the bike and I was so happy with my swim. I could see the girls I was around with, and for me, that's probably the best swim I've ever had. So I thought this could be an okay day, and then got on the bike and I was like, sure, I can't even put on my shoes. Like, it was freezing. And really unhappy with my bike, but in a way, I think that kind of added a bit of fuel to the fire to have a hard run and make it suffer out there.
You looked like you literally were flying on the finish line, and we could see that overtake just within, it was probably within 2 miles of the finish that you overtook to get into that third place position. You know, how did you just find that extra gear? Like, did you know you were going to be in third when you overtook Paula?
Yeah, I think
Or sorry, not Paula, when you overtook Lucy. My apologies.
Yeah, I definitely didn't overtake Paula. I think I had no expectations. I kind of just wanted to run fast, and then if I saw people, great. But yeah, I was kind of just looking at every aid station and just focusing on each aid station instead. And if people came, great. But I knew that it wouldn't be easy overtaking, that everyone's going to go with a battle, and yeah, it was really tough.
Speaking of nutrition, how did your nutrition strategy change for this race coming into it, now that it was a little bit colder than maybe what we might have anticipated a month ago?
Yeah, so I think I knew that I'd probably actually use more calories just because I was so cold on the bike. But I really struggled I didn't want to take my hands off the bars, and I probably didn't get in anywhere near as much as I should have on the bike. So as soon as I hit that run, every aid station to me was gold, and I just drank as much as I could, grabbed as much as I could, and I think that I made up for the calories on the run this time, which, normally in my races I do it the other way around, hardly take anything on the run and do it all on the bike. And
my final question, what did it feel like running down the finish line?
Sure, yeah, it was very, I don't know, just so emotional, because like Chattanooga seems like forever ago, and Chattanooga I was no one knew who I was, and I kind of got a second, and then the Worlds since then, I think there's been 3 or 4 of them, and I've kind of scraped top 10s and top 5, and then to get back on the podium, it really meant a lot.
It certainly looked like it meant a lot when you flew down the finish line. Emma Pallant-Brown, representing the United Kingdom, finishing in 3rd position here with us today in St. George. Paula Findlay, what a race. That's your question. Talk to me about your race day and how it unfolded.
Oh, geez. I think that none of my splits were the fastest splits of the day, so I think it really came down to just consistency across all 3, and it was very cold, but I do think that sort of played to my advantage. I never really felt too uncomfortable on the bike. I was kind of always in control and kept looking at my watts, and they were high, but I felt fine, so I just kind of kept pushing, and I was sort of living for the uphills where we could have the opportunity to warm up a little bit, because it was definitely very cold on the descents, and felt great on the run. It doesn't happen often in my career that I feel like the run is really smooth and fluid, and it happened today, so really grateful for that.
Now, we know you kind of like the cold. How did you mitigate against the chillier weather that we had this morning?
I put a jacket on. Last night I was like trying on 10 different jackets, deciding which one I should wear, and like, is it aero enough? Is it warm enough? And ultimately I just chose like kind of a fleecy layer and some really big gloves. If I could change anything, I'd probably would have put socks on. My toes were pretty cold, but I mostly paid attention to staying warm before the race, had really, really warm gloves and didn't get in the water, and I think that was important and helped a lot.
What does it mean to you to be sitting 2nd fastest female in the world at our 2022 Ironman 70.3 World Championships?
It means so much. I've been racing 70.3 for a while now and have never really had a super awesome breakthrough day. I've had some good races, but it is such an honor to be sitting beside these women that I actually watch on TV racing more than I actually race them. So it's really cool, really humbling, and good confidence booster going forward for sure.
Did you expect to do so well today?
I don't know. I've been training well. I've been healthy all year, and that's kind of the biggest obstacle I have, is keeping my run consistent. And it's been like 12 months since I've been injured last, so I think that was that gave me some confidence. But lining up against these women, you never really know. Would have been happy with top 6, top 8, but 2nd is a bit beyond what I was thinking was possible.
Well, as our theme for this year's 70.3 World Championship is Legends Rising, and certainly legends have risen. Paula Findlay from Canada, congratulations. 2nd place here today. And speaking of legends rising, she is our new Ironman 70.3 World Champion representing the USA, Taylor Knibb. How are you feeling right now?
I'm very grateful. I think I'm probably still in shock. I should probably ask some of the world or the people with more world titles about it and how it kind of sinks in and how you cope with it. But I am very grateful.
Talk us through your race day today.
Oh, well, I think I have, like, whenever you go into a race, I feel like I have, like, multiple plans of kind of, like, how will the race unfold. I had a good swim, a lot better than last year, because I'm like, oh, wow, we can still see Lucy. I have to thank, I think it was Lotta Wilms, because she pulled me up, because I lost Lucy's feet, and then someone, like, just came hauling by me, and I'm like, oh, they're new feet. Like, this is such a good, shocking, so grateful. And then in transition, the first transition, I made sure to put on everything. I toweled off, I put socks on, I put a jacket on, and I put gloves on, and then headed out onto the bike. I had a little trouble getting my right foot in to my shoe, but I just think everything was a little bit numb, and I'll work on that. And then I just kind of rode to my plan, and I was just trying to stick as much to my plan as possible.
So from 5 miles on the bike course, or just before it, you were leading the race and never gave up that lead the whole way through. How much of the win today was about mental capacity and the strength to know that you had the self-belief that you could win here today?
Okay, so on mile 5, you're not thinking about whether you can win or not. So I think it's more, I was just executing my plan. And like, to be perfectly honest, people started really cheering. Probably, it was like we still had 4K to go. And I'm like, it is not over until it's over. And like that last 400 meters felt very long for me because I'm just like, get me across that line, please. Like, I just didn't want to jinx anything. I didn't want anything to happen. When it's so close, you just have to like seal the deal.
I think I asked you at the just before the pro press conference on earlier in the week what it would mean to you to win the World Championship. And you said to me, Joanne, you've asked that question of a lot of people today. I don't think you were too impressed with me, but we're very impressed with you. So how does it feel to now be the Ironman 70.3 world champion?
Well, I think the biggest emotion I'm feeling right now is just extremely grateful. I'm very shocked, and I think that it'll probably sink in later.
Okay, Taylor Knibb, your Ironman 70.3 world champion, your 2022 Intermountain Healthcare Ironman 70.3 world champion. Okay, we can open the floor now to our media questions. I see we have Bob Babbitt with his hands up. We'll give you a microphone there, Bob.
Thank you very much. What did it feel for you guys to have your own day, to have a day that was just for the women, so you didn't have to deal with age group guys, and just the showcase was totally on you guys? We can start with Taylor.
Well, so last year I felt like my race, I was kind of all alone. The only interaction I had with a pro male was when I was finishing lap 1 of the run, and Gustav was lapping me. And so that was the only interaction I had. So Lucy, I don't know if she even had any interaction with the pro men last year. And there's enough of a buffer that in this race there weren't any age group men. But it's extremely special. It's like, I don't think that, like, I'm extremely grateful. Like, it's fun to be the first wave going off, and it's fun that you know that it's only women racing. And it's great for the sport, and I hope that it can continue.
Emma, at about mile 5, you were still 3 minutes down to Flora and Paula and Lucy, who were all like in a little group. Did you have a sense of, okay, I got to pick up X amount of mile to catch these guys?
Yeah, I kind of, I was getting time splits. Like, everyone was awesome. I think, I was getting time splits so regularly. I could see the time was coming down, but at the same time, I know these girls can all run super, super fast. So I thought it would be the second lap, like if anything happened. But yeah, it was really encouraging, kind of getting the support on course. But yeah, when I was watching, because you could see each other, especially on the U-turns and stuff, and I was like, nah, none of these girls look like they're giving an inch. So I thought it might come down to the wire.
And Paula, I'll ask one more. There was a point there where it was you and Lucy and Flora. I think you guys might have been together for a while.
Yeah.
When did you get away, and did you feel like, okay, I don't want this to come down to a sprint, because I've got an Olympic gold medalist over here. I sort of need to get away.
No, No, when I was running with Lucy and Flora and there were 2 spots on the podium left, I thought, I'm going to be 4th, but that's okay. That's still great. So I was just like, Flora really picked it up on the diagonal heading down, and I was seeing our kilometer splits thinking like, wow, this is like my 10K pace, but I just tried to keep with the cadence, and I think it was heading up the diagonal on the second lap that I put a bit of a gap in, but still never ever confident. I didn't want to look back, but I kind of was asking some people like, is the gap growing? Like, where is everybody? But you never really know with this caliber of, the caliber of runners I was with. It was pretty crazy. So I think the uphill suited me more than the downhill. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Bob, for those questions. Do we have any other questions from our media with us here this afternoon? If we do, we just ask you to please state your name and your media affiliation when you get the microphone.
Eric with Slow Twitch. Lucy, you just competed in Kona 3 weeks ago for a world title. You competed today for another world title. Do you feel like it was enough time in between? Would you like less, more?
It's quite funny, actually. I was reading through my notepad the other day, and it had all of my goals when I had my stress fracture in my hip, and the first goal was like get walking again, and we had like A and B plan goals, and I kind of sat there and I was like, okay, my plan B is going to be to try and qualify for 70.3 Worlds. I was like, if I can do that, I'd qualify, but obviously to get on the start line fit and healthy. Then plan A was to just do Kona and not do this race. And then I had like plan A+, which was to do Kona and this race. And I was like, yeah, I doubt that's going to be possible. So actually then to be sat here and be able to do both races 3 weeks apart, I'm like incredibly proud of the journey, the team that got me here, and my body for being able to do both of these races. So yeah, you'd always like more time, but actually I feel like last weekend I felt good to go, and hanging on for another week was actually quite tough to get here.
Thank you. Anybody else from our media in person with us here this afternoon? No? Okay. We do have some questions from social media, but actually before we get to that, I'd love to know what was the highlight of the day for each of you. So Lucy, do you want to start? What was the highlight of the day?
Well, the highlight of the day has actually come after the race. Obviously, I was delighted with the whole day, and I actually did have a lot of fun out there. I think throwing in the cold element was like a new, exciting challenge, and I feel like we all had to overcome that, so that was quite exciting. But actually, Reese and I have got another dog coming, and I had to break the news to my mum and dad. That was what I was probably most worried about today. And they're all for it now. So, yeah, that's probably the highlight of my day.
So I think you had a two-pronged approach to that conversation with your mum, though, because, if you didn't do well today, you were going to be upset and say to your mum, I wanted a puppy, another puppy. But now that you've done so well today, you're going to get one anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of said to mum and dad, I think we might get another dog. And they were like, no. And I was like, actually, no, we are getting another dog. We've reserved it. So they were like, oh, okay, well, as long as you train it well for when you go away. So,
because, of course, Lola stays with your mum and dad while
you're
away.
She does, yeah. She's been there for 7 weeks now. So, they've done a great job looking after her.
They may not give her back to you. Paula, what was the highlight of your day?
Well, we are not getting another dog. That is a guarantee. Well, aside from finishing, that's the obvious one, but making it down Snow Canyon without getting dropped from Lucy and Flora was pretty good for me. I'm very nervous on descents, especially in the wind, and on a TT bike. Downhill with head first is just kind of terrifying to me. So I was proud to be able to kind of like hold my own, be brave, and get down the descent in one piece without losing time.
Did you actually have a chance to look at the beautiful scenery that we have here? I know you're familiar with Snow Canyon and Sand Hollow from racing here previously, but did you get a chance to admire it again, or was it too much of a head down and pedal hard?
You don't notice it as much in the race, especially when it's this cold. You're kind of just all focused on one mission, but obviously appreciate the beauty here very much.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Taylor, for you, there must be so many highlights.
Well, I think the biggest one is just the finish line. Like, there's nothing like it, so that's an easy one.
And can I ask, what was your favourite part of the course today? Or do you have a favourite part, or is it still all a bit of a blur?
Oh, no, I think it's such a fun course. I hadn't seen the first half of the bike course since last year, and I was kind of remembering parts. And it's just like, yeah, it's a great bike course, very hard. Near the top of Snow Canyon was not a highlight. I was just like, when is this climb to be done? I was, oh my God, that last part, it just gets so steep. And I was just ready to get back and off my bike, but I was grateful to get off my bike too.
It's great to hear that the world champion was grateful to get off her bike. We don't hear many people wanting to get off their bike and run 13.1 miles. Emma, your highlight of the day for us.
Yeah, I think you just stole it. It was getting off the bike and putting on my running shoes. I think, just knowing that you were going to get warmer and go the other way. So, getting onto that run course.
Did you have any particular fashionista style like Lucy Charles with the black bin bag or anything under your tri-suit, or what was your plan today?
Yeah, so I actually swam and biked with a bin bag and then ripped it off in transition, and then was like, maybe I can't litter in transition. So I ran the first couple of K till I hit the aid station with a bin bag in my hand and then dumped it there.
Do you know what I find quite interesting is that I presume all of our professional men are going to be watching this press conference today, taking lots and lots of notes for their own race tomorrow. Emma, before we move on to Flora, your favourite part of the course?
I think actually the golf course. We live on a golf course, and I train a lot. I run with the dogs around the golf course, so it kind of felt like home. Running on the golf course.
Are you getting a new puppy too?
No, 2's enough. But 2's a good number. They can keep each other entertained.
Flora, you did not like the run course in the golf section of the run course. Why?
No, I did not enjoy it at all. Because I was dead, and it was so hard to keep a rhythm going up and down and then on the grass and off camber. It just took me back to high school cross-country days. In Bermuda, we ran all our cross-country races on golf courses. I was suffering, so it was pretty savage.
So we know what part of the course you didn't like, but what part of the course was your favourite?
I really enjoyed going up Snow Canyon. It was definitely hard because I was following Paula, and I feel like putting a surge in going up that climb. But it was really cool, the two of us riding up there, and it's a beautiful view. There was great crowd, and the road was closed, and it was just a really nice moment. And then my favorite part on the bike was, I guess everyone out there cheering, and a lot of the male professionals were out there, and they were doing that swinging top thing. And I can remember going past Gustav Eden, and he's jumping around crazy, swinging his hat, shouting, "Go Flora!" And I was like, oh, wow, that's so cool. Like a moment of smiling while my teeth were chattering because I was so cold.
And then back to my question that I asked each of our athletes. What was your highlight of the day, or was it Gustav Eden swinging his top around?
I mean, yeah, he's a good highlight. I think that, and just soaking up the crowd. This is my first 70.3 World Championship, so just enjoying the atmosphere that comes with these races. It was really cool running with Lucy and Paula. I was definitely using them to just try and hang on for as long as possible. And then, of course, the finish line, because I felt like I was going to just fall over. So I was grateful for Paula and Taylor for coming up to me and helping me.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. I'm going to go to some of the questions that we've received through our social media. And Flora, we'll come back and start with you now. And looking back, what would you have changed about the way you raced today?
I don't know. I don't think I would have changed too much. I was pretty happy. My swim was okay. I kind of got a bit clobbered. Somehow I can get through a WTCS race without being touched, but starting at these races, I seem to get jumped literally on.
They were probably trying to stay warm.
A little annoying. I thought the bike was great. I mean, anytime if I'm keeping up with Paula and Lucy, I'm very happy with that. If I could change one thing, probably just that I guess my back or diaphragm kind of went into spasm and was really not very comfortable. But I mean, I don't know. That's just part of long course racing, right? I probably would have put a little bit more clothing on. I got pretty cold out there on the bike. I had space blanket stuff all shoved down my suit and a vest and arm warmers, but yeah, it was still pretty cold out there. So I would have put maybe another layer on.
Okay, more adaptations for future racing.
Yeah, funny enough, the Bermuda girl doesn't do well in 38 Fahrenheit.
Emma Pallant, what would you have changed about the way you raced today?
Same thing. I would have put on more clothes. The bin bag was awesome. I only managed to get one glove on, so I was doing a bit of a Michael Jackson out there. and it was my one that wasn't like shifting the gear, so I was going across and then so yeah, I would have put more. I think I probably would have put a jacket on, to be honest. But I'm chuffed with my transition time. But
How long was it?
I think 10. I don't know. Jared gave me the lowdown.
10 minutes?
But yeah, maybe. But,
It wasn't 10 minutes. Taylor, for you, is there anything you would have changed?
I think I'll probably have to dissect it a bit more. I probably had a 10-minute first transition, but I think that was the good move for me. I think, like, all in all the day, I couldn't really, it was weird. On the bike, I didn't eat, I think, soon enough, because I was just, like, trying to generate heat, and I didn't really want to, like, lose time. And I was also trying to, so the one thing that I would have done was I would not have carried my whole Aero bottle. I didn't drink it, so I just carried that the entire way. So yes, I would not have filled that up. I would have gone one bottle, whole ride, and been absolutely fine.
Okay, Paula, is there anything you would have changed about the way you raced today?
I don't know. I've been sitting here for all these answers trying to think of something, and I can't really think of anything. So maybe take more gels, but I don't know.
Maybe today was your perfect day.
Well, no race is perfect, but I think with the tools that I had today, I had the best race I could. So
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And then Lucy?
I think the only thing I would change was just I should have put on clear goggles in the swim because I didn't anticipate how dark it was going to be. I hadn't actually gone down to the swim that early, so I didn't realise it would be that dark, and it was quite hard to see where I was going on the way out. It was a bit better on the way back. And then I guess just take more nutrition on the bike. My mouth was so cold I couldn't swallow. And I actually went past Holly Lawrence at one point and I said to her, let's get back on, because the group was going up the road with Paula and Flora. And nothing, well, I don't know if it was anything that you could have understood what I said because my mouth was so numb. So Holly was like, were you yelling at me? And I was like, no, I was trying to be encouraging, but apparently nothing made sense. So, yeah.
Nothing made sense, and I can see a flurry of our athletes who are here with us in St. George racing tomorrow on the way to the Ironman merchandise tent to get some Roca clear glasses for tomorrow's swim in Sand Hollow. I have two more questions, and we'll just filter them across the five of you. One of the questions that came in was, how can I get involved in triathlon, was one of the questions, and what motivates your training? So two kind of very different questions. Lucy, you can take whichever one you choose.
I guess for how to get into triathlon, I think kind of across the world now there is so many kind of entry-level triathlon events, whether it's like an aquathon or a triathlon. We certainly have a lot of them in the UK, so it's just kind of about dipping your toe in and giving it a go. And there's a lot of kind of second-hand bikes out there. My first Ironman I actually did on a second-hand bike that I bought on eBay, so you can get some equipment pretty cheap if you're struggling in that sense. So yeah, my advice would just be just go out there and give it a go. The main reason I got into triathlon was to just have fun with it. So yeah, just try and enjoy it.
Fantastic. Paula, do you want to take your pick of the two questions?
Yeah, obviously I'm motivated by results and doing well and winning, but I think the community aspect of it is really important to me. And Eric and I and Nick have built a really cool community with TTL that the number of like hats and cheering and everything we had yelling TTL to me was super cool. So knowing I have like huge community backing me is important, and hopefully inspiring some people to get into the sport as well and do it for fun, not just to win. So that's cool.
Brilliant. Taylor, I'm going to slightly tailor my question, if I will. You're 24 years of age. You're very young. You're the youngest of our female professionals on the podium today. We want to encourage more women into triathlon, more young women to come across from sprint and Olympic distance racing into 70.3 and Ironman distance racing. How do you think we can do that?
Well, that's kind of a big question to put on me right now.
You're the world champion.
But so first off, I'd say, like, I'm hoping to do an Olympic distance in 9 days. I think that you can do it all. And if you are, well, maybe you can't do it all. Not an Ironman quite yet. But so, like, use the sprint and Olympic distances. But if you don't want to jump up either, that's absolutely fine. You can still have like a great career, or just like still enjoy the lifestyle. I don't know, like, some people here have done an Ironman, but like for me, it's kind of like people ask like, oh, have you done an Ironman? And I'm like, no. And it's like, oh, like you'll get there someday. So I think that, like, I hope that the distance doesn't scare anyone, but also that like you don't have to do the longer distances if you don't want to. So that's probably not the answer you wanted, but
it's absolutely perfect.
I think whatever's best for you at that point in your life, and especially like you have a lot going on. So if you can race, pick whatever distance suits you.
Absolutely, and that's what it's about as well. It's about that lifestyle choice to be involved in sport, whether it's at the shorter distances or going longer. Emma, back to those original 2 questions that I asked. I'm going to go to, well, whichever one you'd like to take yourself. What motivates your training, or how can I get involved in triathlon?
I think what motivates my training, first of all, I love it. Like, I enjoy it. I enjoy setting goals and pushing hard to achieve them, and sometimes failing and then going back and having another go. But also just the people, like everyone that reaches out, everyone that supports you. You kind of, you remember people's words, and you hope that you're inspiring some people out there and kind of can learn from your journey and pass things on. And I think, sports definitely changed my life, and I think it has the ability to change so many people's lives, and using that as a tool, I guess.
I see Flora Duffy nodding her head there as the Olympic gold medalist sitting here, 5th position in the world at our Ironman 70.3 World Championships. You know, what motivates you to continue to go out and train every single day?
Yeah, that's actually been a big question of mine this year after winning the Olympics last year, which was my big ultimate goal in the sport. And so, I think it has really come back to, the platform I have and the ability that sport does have to change lives and open doors and create opportunities. And particularly back home in Bermuda, giving back to the community that's given me so much, and helping kids pursue sport, whatever that may be, and whatever opportunities come back from that. So that's been really, motivating. And so, when you start off in sport, you don't expect to be able to do that. And it's been probably one of the greatest pleasures that I've had from my career.
Fantastic. Now, before we finish up, our world champion mentioned at the pre-press conference that she loved crumble cookies. So we have a special presentation of crumble cookies for your 2022 Ironman 70.3 world champion, Taylor Knibb. A huge, oh wow. I've just heard Paula say don't offer them to everybody. So before we go into a pure sugar high, once again, congratulations and well done to your fantastic female athletes here in Utah. Flora Duffy representing Bermuda in 5th position. Lucy Charles-Barkley representing the UK in 4th. Emma Pallant-Brown also representing the UK in 4th. Paula Findlay representing Canada in 2nd position. And your new Ironman 70.3 world champion, Taylor Knibb, representing the USA. Thank you very much and congratulations.